What's good, y'all? Back with another tutorial. We are going to be doing a mid fade with the number 3 on top, beard lineup, and trim. Doing the mid fade, we're leaving it low enough to where we can keep the C cups on the cut. Yeah, man, super simple cut. Try to make it as easy as I can with the steps. Follow along. Let me know how it works out for you. If you need me to add anything to these tutorials, put it down in the comment section. And let's go. Number 3 guard on the clipper. Man, when you pass the guard over the head, you know, slow, steady strokes is the key. That way, you know, you don't snag up on a client's head. It's the last thing you want to do, man. Snag up and create any kind of discomfort. But yeah, knocking the hair down. Alright guys, after we took the hair down with the number 3, we're gonna make our first guideline. I did the seniors closed in a flicking motion as far as my first guideline. This way, when it comes down to fading out that first guideline, it's not pushed, you know, hard. It's not a hard line, and it's easier to blend out. I did this process. I did it all around the head. Instead of just doing one side first and the other side, I do it all the way around. Also, make sure that when you make your guidelines, they're the same height on both sides. The last thing you want to do is have a high fade on one side and a low fade on the other side. After I've made my first guideline, I'm gonna come back behind that with the Stoffcraft sabers just to clean up the hair that was left below the first guideline. Alright y'all, after we cut the hair that was left below the first guideline with the trimmers, I'm going to go behind that one and I'm going to shave it down bald to the skin with the FX shaver. Alright guys, after you hit it with the shavers and get it down to the skin, it's time to make your second guideline. With this cut, I used a different step. Instead of making my second guideline with the clipper open, I used the 1.5 guard with the lever all the way open. I made my guideline about 1.5 inches thick to 2 inches, and I'm gonna fade that down using the lever play method. As I fade down, I'm closing the lever. Now that we have faded that second guideline down that we made with the 1.5 guard all the way down to the lever closed, we're going to be doing our third guideline, which is the one below the 1.5. We are going to be using the number 1 guard, lever open, and we're going to fade down using the lever play method. So as you fade down, you're going to close your lever till you get down to the line. slapping the half guard on now. We're going to be doing the same method, blending down, lever close as we get closer to the main guideline. Always be sure that you're flicking out. Use the flick out motion when you get to the lines that you made. You guys always flick out. Alright, after we've blended all the way down to the first guideline with the half guard lever close, now we are going to erase that first guideline with the clipper open. Remember guys, we made the first guideline with the clipper closed, so we should be able to remove that first guideline with the clipper closed. Starting off with the clipper lever open, we're going to be doing the same technique, fading downwards, closing the lever as we get closer to the bald line. Right here, I just put the number 1 guard back on, just going over the blend, some touch up, using the corners. Always use the corners when you're doing the touch up, man. It helps out. Also flick out. Always flick out when you're doing any kind of touching up or fading. You never want to lay the clipper flat. You will keep creating guidelines, and that's the last thing you want to do. Alright guys, right here I slapped the number 2 guard back on just to finish off the blend from the 1.5 to the number 3 that we did on top. Of course, when you're blending up, make sure that you have the lever open because you're blending up to a higher guard. And if you leave the lever closed with the number 2, you're just going to create another line. So lever open, number 2, blend up to the number 3 and blend down, closing the lever to the 1.5. Alright guys, it's edge up time. You guys, you could use hairspray, spritz. I like to use hairspray, the extra hold for the lineups. I also, some step that I didn't put on here that I skipped is I always rubbing alcohol on the edge up or anywhere that I'm going to be lining up to kind of help clean up that dirt, grease, oil, anything that could be on the skin, preventing that hairspray to dry off the hair and get it crisp, so when you hit it with the edgers, it just falls off. The client wanted a number 3 on his beard, so I slapped a number 3 guard on and I cleaned up his face. I cleaned up all his beard. I ran the number 3 guard throughout his whole beard, combing it to make sure that I had an even cut around his whole face. Alright, we're gonna fade down the beard. Here I have the Andes Masters with the fade blade on, closed, and I'm gonna be fading down. So as I'm fading down, I'm gonna open up the lever to create a blend. I'm eyeballing it. I'm not like pressing as I go down fading with the lever. As I'm opening it, I'm not pressing the blade all the way down to the skin. I'm kind of hovering it over the hair just to create that blend. It's more of a freehand fade technique that I've used for a while. Right here, using the Stylecraft sabers, I zero gapped them by eyeballing. I had zero gapped them before this cut with a zero gap setter that comes in the box, but it didn't hit like I wanted it to, so I had to zero gap it myself the way that I've always zero gapped any of my other trimmers. And these things are cutting, man. They're sharp, so be careful. Don't press too hard if you'll zero gap it by yourself, because you can cut your client. Going over to the other side, same steps, lever all the way closed, and as you blend down, open the lever. Remember, freehand fade technique.